Dear students, already we have taken some lessons regarding the Indian Constitution. You are supposed to know some important parts of Indian Constitution. Already we know how the Indian Constitution has been established by framing a Constituent Assembly, having a preamble for the Constitution, and what all important things to be included in the Constitution have been mentioned in the preamble. In the same way, we had a discussion regarding the important parts of Indian Constitution, particularly the fundamental rights which the Constitution gives and the fundamental duties of the Indian citizen. This already we have discussed, and directive principles. Some of the things have been added in the Constitution by amending the Constitution. There is a provision for our Constitution that we can amend it and bring necessary changes. The Article 368 explains about the amendment of Constitution. How we can amend our Constitution. What is the procedure of amending the Constitution. So the Article 368 says, by introducing the bill in any one of the house, that is lower house or upper house, Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha, by 2/3 majority, bill can be introduced in any one of the houses by 2/3 majority, and that will lead to amending the Constitution. Particularly the Article 368, please keep it in mind, Article 368 helps us to amend our Constitution. We accepted the Constitution in the year 1950, January 26th, isn't it? Our Constitution was accepted by the Constituent Assembly in 26 November 1949. But the Constitution was implemented on 26th January 1950. This you already know. But in 1951, June 1951 only, the first amendment was made. That first amendment was this, because there was no mention in the Constitution how many times the Lok Sabha meeting can be held. Since it was not mentioned in the Constitution, the authorities in power may conduct the assembly or Lok Sabha anytime they like. They may conduct once in a year or twice in a year or 4 times a year, anything they like. But the first amendment of Constitution in June 1951 states that at least 2 times the Lok Sabha should be called for. Discussion should take place. So this amendment, first amendment made, was in June 1951 only. Just within 1 year. And totally so far, nearly 200 amendments have been made to our Constitution. This is so surprising. Nearly 200 amendments have been made. But today we shall have a discussion of some important amendments which have been made. The first amendment was of holding the Lok Sabha twice at least a year. And the 42nd amendment, which was done in the year 1976 during emergency. In June 95, emergency was declared in our country by Indira Gandhi, and at that time some 6 amendments were made in the 42nd amendment. One is the words secular, socialistic integrity. These three words have been included or added to our preamble. But earlier our preamble was having only India is a sovereign democratic republic. First mentioned in our preamble was India is a sovereign democratic republic. These were the words mentioned in the preamble. But in 96, during 42nd Amendment, secular word was included, socialistic word was included, integrity was included. These three additional words were included in the preamble. And next is directive principles. The directive principles which were taken from Scottish Constitution, and there was a little misunderstanding between fundamental rights and directive principles. Directive principles uphold the common, which applicable to all, common interest. But the fundamental rights uphold the personal interest. So that is the difference. In a way we can say directive principles overtake on the fundamental rights of individual. And this was included in the 42nd Amendment. Directive principles were given importance than fundamental rights. Third one is, earlier only fundamental rights were mentioned in the Constitution. Part 3rd of our Constitution, only fundamental rights were mentioned, but fundamental duties were not mentioned. In 1976, during 42nd Amendment, fundamental duties also were included in our Constitution. And fourth one is, Parliament was given supreme powers to amend the Constitution. Anything done in both the houses should be signed by the President of India. Then only it becomes law. But now in this amendment, if the Parliament passes anything, it is supreme. So this amendment also was made in the 42nd Amendment in 1976. Education, which was in the state list, and this was included in the concurrent list also. Earlier Constitution has mentioned the responsibilities of the states, responsibilities of the center, and some factors were the responsibility of both. Education was the responsibility of state earlier. But in the 42nd Amendment in 1976, the education was included in the concurrent list. Means state government also can frame rules and central government also can frame rules in the interest of national education. And the last one done in the 42nd Amendment was in 1976, the tenure of Lok Sabha. As you know, the tenure of Lok Sabha is 5 years. The tenure of Rajya Sabha and tenure of Vidhan Parishad, these are 6 years. Because for every 2 years, 1/3 of the people, those who complete 6 years, are going to retire and fresh persons are elected. Perhaps to make it convenient, 6 years is kept as a period of Rajya Sabha and Vidhan Parishad. But Lok Sabha tenure, which is 5 years, that also was increased to 6 years, which is perhaps unconstitutional. These were done, 6 amendments were done in 1976 in the 42nd Amendment. And in the 44th Amendment, which was done in 1978, immediately after the emergency, there was a change of government, and whatever errors were created by the 42nd Amendment during emergency, all of them were made null and void. Particularly this tenure of Lok Sabha increasing to 6 years was cancelled. And Parliament being supreme, this also was questioned. Like this, the some unacceptable, the amendments made in 1976 in the 42nd Amendment were shut right. And next one is Article 31 relating to property was scrapped. The fundamental rights gives as per the Article 31, every individual of our country is given a fundamental right to make any property. But this was scratched. Why? Because people were amassing wealth like anything, particularly people in power. And people, those who are engaged in black market, they also were amassing wealth like anything. So this fundamental right, Article 31, which provides an opportunity for individual to make any property, was scrapped. Nowadays, you may be hearing the ED department, they are raiding people, rich men, houses. Those who do not pay income tax, those who have amassed wealth more than their income, 10 times, 20 times, 100 times of their income, they have amassed wealth by misusing the power. People have not paid the tax to the government. Avoiding tax, they have amassed wealth like anything. So such wealth is not acceptable to the government. So this Article 31 of fundamental rights was scrapped in the 44th Amendment. And declaration of emergency required approval of Council of Ministers. In 1975, when the emergency declared in our country, Prime Minister took the decision, taking it granted that the Council of Ministers agree. The President signed, since the President was a rubber stamp, he signed. Whatever Prime Minister said, President signed. Now this amendment was made, this to declare emergency, Prime Minister or anybody who declares emergency must get the consent from the Council of Ministers. So anybody cannot declare emergency according to his own wish and will. And another amendment made, the President rule was imposed whenever there is a disturbance in the state, whenever there is a law and order problem in the states. Normally President rule is declared. But this President rule, after declaring, the President rule can remain for 1 year. But in the 44th Amendment, amendment was made and the President rule should not be for 1 year, it should be only for 6 months. Within 6 months, election should be held. And power should be given to the elected members. Next is declaring national emergency. The word national emergency, this word disturbance, internal disturbance was replaced by internal armed rebellion. The internal emergency can be declared only in case when there is an armed rebellion, internal armed rebellion. Then only internal emergency. There are 3 types of emergencies. One is external emergency, another is internal emergency, third one is financial emergency. In 75, though it was not necessary, emergency was declared, internal emergency. That's why, not to misuse the power of anybody, if there is any internal armed rebellion by some people, at that time only the emergency can be, otherwise no. These 5 amendments were made in 44th, and in 73rd amendment, which was done in 1993, Panchayat Raj Amendment. This Panchayat Raj Amendment gives more powers to villages, village panchayats. For example, some powers are given to them, take decisions, financial liberty is given. So by this, democracy is strengthened at the grassroots level. Panchayats are at the grassroots level in any democratic country. So more powers are given to panchayats, more financial powers are given, and they can also take decisions so that at the grassroots level, democracy can be established in our country. And next, in 74th Amendment, which was done in the same year, 73rd was done in 1993 to strengthen the panchayats, and once again 74th Amendment also was done in 1993. It gives scope for establishing municipalities and city corporations. These are called local self-governments. Municipalities and corporations are given more powers as panchayats are given, financial powers, and their period of to be remain in power, and total administration, urban administration is given to these municipalities and corporations. In the same year, 1993, 2 amendments were made, 73rd Amendment and 74th Amendment. And next in 86th Amendment was done in 2002. And this is concerned to compulsory education to children between the age group of 6 and 14. It is the government responsibility to give education to the children between the age group of 6 and 14. And parents are also punishable for this if they do not provide education to their children. It is government responsibility to give free education from age 6 to 14. This was done in 2002 in the 86th Amendment. And in 91st Amendment, which was done in 2003, it strengthens anti-defection bill, supports the anti-defection bill. Before that, before 2003, the elected people were elected from one party and they were joining another party after election. In this way, no government was stable. If somebody is not getting a minister's post with 4 or 5 persons, he will shift to another party. There was no restriction up to 2003. And there was a Ayaram Gayaram Sarkar. It was very popular. The ministry is not given to anybody, he will take 4 or 5 people and join another party and he will become a minister or deputy minister there. This way, no government remains stable then. That was a problem. That's why the anti-defection bill was passed. If at all people elected from some party, they want to leave the party and join another party, at least 1/3 of the majority people should take decision, not 1 or 2 persons. So this stops the defection. And at the same time, the restriction for ministry also was done. Earlier, any number of people were made ministers. It was a very big burden for the government exchequer, public exchequer. In Uttar Pradesh, more than 100 people were ministers. In our state also, more than 30-40 people were ministers. It is totally burden on the public exchequer. The expenditure has to be borne by the common public. So in this amendment, 2003 91st Amendment, the ministry was restricted to only 15%. If 100 persons are elected for assembly or Lok Sabha, only 15 people can become ministers. So this restriction was done by amending the constitution in 2003. And in 117th amendment in the year 2013, the Article 371 was introduced. Article 371(3), that giving special concession to the areas which are underdeveloped, which are backward. For example, Gulbarga area, Hyderabad, Karnataka area was given special concessions as per the Article 371. As you know, Article 370 applies to Kashmir. But Article 371 provides to the government to give special concession to the people of that area, to the backward areas. Example, Gulbarga. And another important amendment done in 2019, giving a special concession to Kashmir by introducing Article 370 and 35A. They were enjoying life, anything, at the cost of central government, at the cost of the tax paid by the people all over India. Their contribution was nothing. But in the name of Algawad, separatists, so many reasons they were putting forward to, we want to join Pakistan, this and that, threatening the central government, getting maximum profit from the, maximum aid from the central government. In a way, governments were weak. The giving special concession because of 370 was illegal. The Article 35A also was illegal, more illegal than Article 370. See the foolishness and dirty interest of these Kashmiris, that the bill was passed in 1956, Article 35A, but they introduced it right from 1944. How is it possible? What a crooked mind those rulers were having, Kashmiri rulers. And these two articles, Article 370 and 35A, were cancelled in the year 2019. And now, Kashmir also has become a, Kashmiri so far thought that we are an independent nation. We don't want to join Indian Union. They were giving preference to join Pakistan. Now, these such foolish type of activities were going on, and these two articles were removed in 2019. So these are the important amendments. So students who have studied Constitution must know these things. If you have any difficulties regarding Constitution or regarding these amendments, ours is a democratic country which gives scope for anybody, or even for our Constitution, which is a supreme. Our government runs according to Constitution. Even there is a possibility of making changes in the Constitution. So we are more democratic than any other country in the world. Thank you.